In a swirl of royal whispers and unexpected retorts, a familiar family voice has stepped into the spotlight with a challenge that crackles like a fire on a cold night. Lord Ivar Mountbatten, a cousin on the king's side, has boldly declared that Meghan's embrace of the name Sussex misses the mark entirely. His words, delivered with a mix of amusement and disbelief, have set the stage for a debate that feels as old as time yet as fresh as a spring morning. What does a family name truly mean when history, pride, and modern identity all dance together in a complicated waltz? On a recent episode of her popular streaming show, Meghan Markle herself lit up the screen with a moment of candid clarity. While sharing a light-hearted kitchen scene with her dear friend Mindy Kaling, the Duchess playfully corrected her companion by saying, "It's so funny you keep saying Meghan Markle." In that small, cozy setting filled with the clink of snack plates and easy laughter, Meghan revealed, with an earnest pause that captured the weight of her feelings, "I'm a Sussex now." She went on to explain how much it meant to her to share a name with her children, a simple yet heartfelt claim to a family identity that resonated like the gentle hum of a familiar tune. Her words, sprinkled with both humor and a touch of sentiment, left viewers wondering, can a name be both a personal choice and a piece of living history? Yet not everyone in the sprawling royal tapestry sees it the same way. In a sharp counterpoint that crackled with controversy, Lord Ivar Mountbatten, now 61, offered a different view in a recent interview with a well-known lifestyle magazine. He insisted that Meghan's proper surname should be Mountbatten-Windsor rather than the newly adopted Sussex. With a calm yet pointed tone, he explained that her children, Archie and Lilibet, are officially registered as Mountbatten-Windsor, not Sussex, because Sussex is a title, not a family name in the traditional sense. Imagine the scene, a conversation where every word seems weighed down by centuries of royal protocol, and yet the debate feels as fresh and biting as a crisp autumn breeze. Lord Ivar didn't stop there. He painted a picture of the royal naming tradition that feels both charming and complex. He recalled how his own family carries the name Mountbatten, as his brother is known as George Mountbatten, the Marquess of Milford Haven. When he first read about Meghan's new show and her claim of a family name in Sussex, it struck him like a discordant note in a well-rehearsed symphony. Even as he admitted with a wry smile that he hadn't yet tuned into her show with love, Meghan, he hinted that his curiosity might soon overcome his reservations, if the program manages to hold its own in this rapidly shifting drama. Adding even more flavor to the tale, it turns out that Lord Ivar's own story is no stranger to breaking new ground. As a great-nephew of the late Earl Mountbatten of Burma and as the first in the extended royal family to enter into a same-sex union back in 2018, his life has been a blend of tradition and bold new choices. His marriage to James at Bridwell adds a twist of modern romance to an otherwise storied lineage. This background makes his perspective on naming all the more intriguing, an insider's view that mingles old-world expectations with the new realities of personal identity. But here's where the plot thickens. Even though Lord Ivar is quick to point fingers at Meghan's choice, many experts and royal watchers suggest that her decision isn't entirely without basis. The controversy has ignited heated discussions among those who keep a close eye on royal affairs. Many have questioned whether it makes sense for a couple with only a fleeting historical connection to the county to claim it as their own. After all, aside from a brief 6-hour visit on a whirlwind tour in October 2018, touching down in places like Brighton, Chichester, and Peacehaven, the region has remained more a passing memory than a homecoming. In fact, the royal family's own records tell a story of tradition that dates back decades. Officially, as confirmed by palace insiders, the family surname remains Mountbatten-Windsor, a name that appears on the birth certificates of both Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. It all harks back to 1960, when Queen Elizabeth and the Duke of Edinburgh decided that their direct descendants should stand apart, a small yet significant change that left an indelible mark on royal history. Their decision, made in the quiet chambers of the Privy Council, ensured that Prince Philip's surname, which he proudly took on in 1947 after becoming a naturalized Briton, would live on as part of a hyphenated legacy. Yet Meghan is not the only one to adopt a title as a family name. Across the royal landscape, it's common for titles to be used as a shorthand, almost like nicknames that carry weight. For instance, Prince Harry was known as Harry Wales during his school days and even in the military, a nod to his father, then the Prince of Wales. Even Prince William and his children have followed a similar path. And think about it, before tying the knot, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie went by the surname York, a tribute to their father's title, the Duke of York. When it comes to names, the rules have always been more of a friendly guideline than a strict law. It's no wonder, then, that the children of the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, despite being eligible for royal titles, have chosen to be known as Mountbatten-Windsor. So, when Harry and Meghan decide to call their children Archie and Lilibet Sussex or even use it themselves, it fits right into a long line of flexible traditions. Could it be that this playful bending of the rules is just another chapter in the ever-evolving story of what it means to be royal? Adding weight to this view, Wendy Bosbury-Scott, editor of a well-respected peerage guide, explains that while the official surname remains Mountbatten-Windsor, it has been a long-standing practice for royals to use their titles as a kind of everyday surname. She points out that Harry's days in the army saw him known as Harry Wales, a reflection of his father's legacy. Now, as the Duke of Sussex, it makes perfect sense for him to be called Harry Sussex, just as his wife might be called Meghan Sussex. It's a bit like how the Duke of Norfolk opts for Edward Norfolk even though his family name is actually Howard. Doesn't that twist of tradition add a delightful layer of intrigue? Bosbury-Scott goes on to reveal that when titles are involved, children are usually registered under both names. In 2019, Prince Archie's entry in the General Register Office lists him under both Sussex and Mountbatten-Windsor, a clear sign that this isn't a break from tradition but rather an evolution of it. With so many examples echoing this practice, one has to wonder, are the Sussexes really stepping out of line, or are they simply dancing to a familiar, if slightly modern, tune? Joe Little, the managing editor of a popular royal magazine, wraps it up with a nod to the long-standing nature of this practice. He reminds us that while the rules may not be written in stone at Buckingham Palace, there's a kind of graceful flexibility that has always allowed royals to choose names that speak to both their history and their personal style. And as this debate continues to unfurl like an intricate tapestry, one thing is clear, the conversation about names is far from over. What will the next chapter reveal in this ongoing saga of tradition, identity, and the ever-changing rhythm of royal life?